how to subtract a mixed numbers that require you to regroup. So as you can see, I have two mixed numbers, 8 and 1/10 minus 2 and 9/10. I first check to make sure that I have like denominators, and I see that I have tens in both of my denominators, so I'm ready to start subtracting. I'm going to move to look at my numerators. I see that I have 1 in my first number and a 9 here, and I'm stuck. I cannot subtract 9 from 1, so I'm going to have to regroup or borrow from my whole number. I'm going to borrow 8 wholes, and it will become 7 wholes. And I need to add in my numerator 1 whole. I'm going to look at my denominator, and I remember that 10 tens equals 1 whole. So that would give me a new problem of 7 and 11/10. I'm going to go ahead and rewrite this mixed number down here. And now I should be able to subtract. I have 11 minus 9 gives me 2 in my numerator. My denominator stays the same. Now that I've subtracted my fractions first, I can look at my whole numbers. 7 minus 2 is 5. I have one last step, and that's to make sure that my fraction has been written in simplest form. Right away, I notice that both 2 and 10 are even numbers. A number is divisible by 2 if it's even. So I'm going to divide both my numerator and my denominator by 2. Whatever I do to the bottom, I have to do to the top. So 5 divided by 2 is 1, and 10 divided by 2 is 5. I need to make sure that I rewrite my whole number in my final answer. So it's 5 and 1/5. So 8 and 1/10 minus 2 and 9/10 is equal to 5 and 1/5. Now I'm going to solve the same problem using a different strategy. I'm going to subtract these two mixed numbers using renaming, or better known as my man. I first check to make sure my denominators are like denominators. I have a 10 in both denominators, so I'm ready to subtract. I'm going to use my man, which is multiply, add, drop it in the numerator. I'm going to start here with 10 times 8. That gives me 80. All the way around, plus 1, 81. So my new numerator is 81, and my denominator is going to stay the same. Now I need to rename this fraction as well. 2 times 10 is 20, plus 9 is 29. And my denominator stays the same, 10. Now I can go ahead and subtract these numbers. I'm going to subtract 29 from 81. (11 minus 9 is 2, and 7 minus 2 is 5, and my denominator stays the same. Now I can't leave my problem like this because we have a fraction greater than 1. We need to now divide in order to change it back to a mixed number. 52 divided by 10. So I'm going to count by tens and see how many times it will go into 52. 10, 20, 30, 40, 50. I know that it can go in 5 whole times, because 10 times 5 is 50. That would leave me 2 leftovers or remainders, which would stay in my numerator, and my denominator stays the same. So I arrive at the same answer, 5 and 2/10, which of course, because both of those are even numbers, needs to be simplified. I can divide both the numerator and the denominator by 2. So I would get 5 wholes. 2 divided by 2 is 1. And 10 divided by 2 is 5. So 5 1/5 is my final answer. So either strategy can help you arrive at the same answer. Okay, let's try it again with another problem. I'm going to solve this problem using both of those same strategies again. This time we have 2 wholes minus 1 1/4. I'm going to first start off with regrouping. I have 2 wholes, but I notice that my denominator for the other number is 4. So I'm going to regroup this as 1 whole, and I need to make another whole in a fraction using 4/4. 1 4/4 is equivalent to 2 wholes, so I've just regrouped it in order to be able to subtract. Now I'm going to write the second fraction as 1 1/4, and then I will subtract those two numbers. My denominators are like denominators, so I'll start with my numerators. 4 minus 1 is 3. My denominator will stay the same, and my whole number, 1 minus 1, is 0. So the answer to this problem is 3/4. I need to check to see if it can be simplified, and I know that 3 and 4 are 1 away from counting numbers, so it's already in simplest form. I'm going to circle my final answer. I'm going to solve this problem with renaming. To rename this fraction, I need to change both of these into fractions greater than 1. 2 wholes would be 8/4, because 8 divided by 4 is 2. And I'm going to use my man for this other fraction. I'm going to multiply, add, and then drop it in the numerator. 4 times 1 is 4, plus 1 is 5. That gives me 5/4, and my denominator stays the same. Now I'm ready to subtract. 8 minus 5 is 3, and my denominator stays the same, 4. So solving this problem with renaming, I still end up with 3/4. Either strategy can help me arrive at the answer. All right, class, now it's your turn. I want you to try to subtract 2 3/8 minus 1 5/8. I want you to choose a strategy you feel most comfortable with, either regrouping or renaming. Be sure to bring your work to class tomorrow. And if you're up for a real challenge, I want you to try it with both strategies. Can't wait to see your success. See you tomorrow. You have been flipped. Good luck.